Hey everyone, it's an honor to be here. I hope you can hear me all right. I just thought I'd chill out for a minute, and I'm on the beautiful Sydney Harbour. And I figured a lot of you listening to this are still in lockdown. I absolutely feel for you, so I thought I'd show you some great scenes. Now, I'm absolutely honored to be doing this live webinar with you incredible people. And our wonderful friend is going to send me your questions, so make sure you type in lots of questions. Now, there's actually a reason why I got invited to this wonderful live webinar, and it's an honor being here. I was actually invited because our wonderful friend who's organised this, who shall remain nameless but come out later, actually listened to one of my presentations from the Australian Marketing Institute. And it was actually how to teach marketers how to sell. And what was interesting about this webinar experience that I did was that she liked it because it gave her interesting insight into how marketers work. Now, I thought I'd just show you the Sydney Harbour Bridge behind me. It looks beautiful, I know. Put in your questions and get them through. But here's the big thing I want to share you incredible people as we get into this webinar. What's so important, my friends, is I used to be in the military and work for the government, but I actually used to be a marketing manager and marketing director myself. And I used to deal with promotional people all the time. And if I can be honest with you, some of you were great, some of you were not so great. And I'm basically here to tell you some tips about sales, but also how the marketer's mind works, being an old marketing director and manager myself before I sort of became influencer and all that. So it's a pleasure having you with us. Please excuse the lighting. I might use sunglasses here and there. The sun is coming out and shining on me. But instead of me sitting at home boringly in my office, I thought I'd get out and about and show you some pretty views. So without further ado, let's get on in. What I actually want to do is actually share with you my screen. So I'm going to hit the share screen button right now. Welcome everyone for coming in. It's an absolute pleasure having you with us. And I hope you can see my screen all right. You should be able to, but I'm sure, please yell if you don't see my screen. So just to let you know, this presentation that I did, I actually haven't changed a word. This is what I actually did 2 years ago. And I deliberately kept it the way it was to really capture the experience of it. So if you want to copy this presentation, send me an email. Or also what you can do as well, my beautiful friends, is add me on wonderful LinkedIn. So please add me on LinkedIn. I've been absolutely honored to connect. So let's get into it, my friends. I'm not going to bore you with all the detail. I'm just going to go through the top line. I'm really here to tell you how marketing people work and what we like and what we don't like when it comes to us being sold to. So any questions, just let me know. And also while I'm here as well, I also want to take you a little bit through DISC profiling. Again, I'm not going to bore you with a whole DISC profiling and how it works from a personality point of view. I'm only going to lightly touch on it to teach you how it works from a sales point of view in relation to marketing people. So without further ado, I'm just going to skip through a few things, but I will just make a few key points. If you've got anything, type in the questions. I'd be absolutely hearing. Now, here's one of the big things I want to share with you stellar people. Marketing people, and I'm having a shot at myself here. Marketing people are some of the most entitled, uptight, and again, I'm having a shot at myself here too, entitled, uptight, and time poor people you get. And it's interesting being a marketing person. When you're a marketing person working for a company, everyone kind of hates you. And I'll explain to you why everyone hates you. People in finance hate you because you spend money all the time. People in operations hate you because you're always getting them to do stuff that they don't want to do. People in customer service don't mind you. And also quite often management will hate you because if your last campaign didn't do well, they'll hate you. So as a marketing director or manager or whatever role, you're either it's kind of like high school, you're either really popular or everyone kind of hates you, if that makes sense. Now, as a result, marketing people can be really cranky, they can be really time poor. And here's the big point. When you approach marketing people, it's a bit like talking to a lawyer in the sense you've got to be very respectful of their time, but you also have to really cut to the chase and really understand what they're doing. So just a quick personal insight from there. The other thing is as well, some marketing people, even though we work in marketing, we're not necessarily the most personal people. We can be quite cranky and irritable, which I know is bad, but I'm here to tell you the truth and how you teach you how to win. So here's one of my big bits of advice for you to really, really reach through to marketing people. Be really precise, be really direct in what you're doing, and don't mess around and cut to the chase. That's one of my big bits of advice to you. And just a little bit as well, this is me. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I won't bore you with detail about me. But what I want to do is I want to get into absolutely everything. When it comes to sales, sales is all about what we say is meet, like, know, and trust. That's meet, like, know, and trust. Now, this is basically how it works. People get to meet you, they get to like you, they get to know you, and get to trust people. And in terms of marketing people, it can be quite a few multiple contacts till you get to like them. I've got a few tips on getting through to marketing people. I think marketing people are very active on LinkedIn. It's very important. I think adding them on LinkedIn is a great way to go, introducing yourself to them, building a relationship with them. I know you would have heard that all before, but what I do want to say is don't just ring them up and try and sell crap to them. Add them on LinkedIn, become friends with them. The slower you go, the better are you're going to be. I just want to do a quick hello as well. If you've just come in, I think a few people have just come in. My name is Edward Zia. I'm just on the beautiful Sydney Harbour right now. I hope you can see my view all right. And as I said before, I deliberately thought I'd come here rather than just sit in my boring home office. None of you awesome people this yet. So yeah, that's a few key points as well, just in terms of sales. And if you've got your questions, get them through and a wonderful friend will help send through me. Also got a bit of recommended reading for you as well. One of my mentors and educators is Scott Adams. Creator of Dilbert. He's got a wonderful YouTube channel. This guy is really good. And he's got a great book called Win Bigly, Persuasion Well Where Facts Don't Matter. Again, I don't mean to be political here, but just for the sake of it, he wrote a book on basically how Trump defeated Hillary Clinton in an unwinnable election and the persuasional secret. So whether you like Trump or not, like politics or not, it's a really good book. So it'll really help you, especially with time poor and patient marketing people like me. Skip all that one. Now, I want to quickly touch on disc profiling. And as I go through it, I'm going to relate it back to the different type of marketing people that I've not only worked with, but also I've managed in my time as well. So to give you some context, I've been a marketing coordinator, I've been a manager, and I've also been a marketing director. And now I'm, of course, my own business owner. So I know all layers and I've often reported directly to CEOs. So I know the deal and what we have to do. Now, when it comes to marketing people, the higher marketing people work up is the more profitability driven they mean. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a marketing assistant or marketing coordinator. You're not really that much into profitability. You're more just about reliability and quality. As you get, like in any company, as you get higher up in the food chain, return on investment comes more important. So my big advice to you is, depending on who you're talking to, you're going to kind of pick what they're doing. If you're talking like a director or a general manager of marketing, a lot of it's about return on investment and it's about high-end issues. If you're talking to a lower, more operational level, it's more about the details. So just keep it in mind. And because I'll tell you where I'm coming from. I've had a lot of promotional people approach me at the wrong level. And what I mean is, I'm not looking down on them, I'm not saying that, but what I mean is they haven't approached me with the right frame of reference. In other words, they would talk too much detail where I didn't care, or they wouldn't talk enough strategy where I cared. So always pick the person where they are. Now, I highly encourage you to do it. Disc profiling is such a very important persuasional tool. And it won't just help you in dealing with marketing people, it's going to help you become more persuasive and sell better. Now, there is this, you can do a free disc test. If you type into Google, 123 as in the number, 123 free disc test. I'll say it again, 123 free disc test. There's a beautiful free test that you can use. And what's beautiful about this free test is that you can do your own disc profile for free. So you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on disc profile. You can do it for free. So I encourage you, not now, but afterwards, do it. You'll absolutely love it. Now, with disc profiling, there's basically 4 personality types that I want to go through, and I want to relate them back to marketers that I know. Now, and this is my personality. Number 1 is director, is the dominant sort of personality. Famous Australian example is Ida Buttrose. Trump's a director as well, type of personality. And this is my style as well. Factual, results driven, decisive, get things done. And we love it when people cut to the chase, but we're impatient people. So a lot of, usually as you go higher up in the marketing tree, people will become more Ds. So again, if someone's like an impatient, aggressive marketing director, you got to cut to the chase and really respect their time. The next one is the influencer. These usually, especially a lot of PR people actually, not so much marketing people, but some marketing people, a lot of PR people like this. These are like the Rebel Wilsons, the William Shatners, they're like the talkers, the life of the parties, they're the fun people. They're really nice people, however, they can be slightly annoying, just being honest with you, incredible people. And that's a real D remark. Ds find influencers quite annoying, to be honest with you. So if you are an influencer yourself, nothing wrong with that, no disrespect to you, my wife is, but be very careful when you're talking to Ds. The other one is you don't often get these in marketing people. They are there, but they're rare. They're more analytical people, but you do get the odd one. These are the thinkers. These are often process people. A lot of operational people are more thinkers. Famous examples, Mark Wahlberg. Australian examples, Kathy Freeman, the athlete, Indigenous athlete. These people are very logical and idea-based. Often military, government are like this. So if you're dealing with marketing people in government, you might see a lot more of these types. These people are all about systems, process, and you've got to take your time with them. And the final one are the nice people. Usually marketing directors are quite mean-spirited people, much like me. You won't get many of these people, but usually at the low levels you do. These are the more calm, relaxed people that are all about people getting along, okay? Famous examples, Miranda Kerr and Sam Worthington. These are people who just want everyone to get along and really relate. Now, where I'm going here, the reason why I showed you this is, A, I want you to think about what your style is, and B, I want you to think about the style of your customers, okay? You got director type of people, which are people like me, influencer people, which is like the talkers and the party people. You got the thinkers, which are like the process, military, athlete, academics especially in academia, you meet a lot of people like this, and you've got the relators. So friends, I've just dumped a lot of information on you. I just want to take a pause for the moment, and I want our wonderful friend from the Australasian Promotional Association to check in. I'd love to just take any questions, and I just want to pause for a moment. So what are you all thinking, friends, before I keep going on and on? Hope you can hear me all right. Have any questions? What questions do we have, my legendary friends? So I certainly want to know. Any questions? No, we're all happy? Okay. Well, if we're all happy, my friends, if you got any questions, let me know. But if you're all happy, then let's continue then, shall we? Let's keep it all moving. Share screen again. Pardon me, I'm more of a GoToWebinar user, so that's funny for me using Zoom webinar. There we go. So there you go.
Edward, sorry, Edward, this is Ida.
Hey, Ida.
I've just had a question come through by Andy. What's
Awesome.
the best way to get a face-to-face?
Andy, I love where you're going, my friend, and great question. Now, this is how I would go. Actually, I do this in my own business to let you know that. The best way I go about getting a face-to-face is I do several things. Is I try and add them on LinkedIn and be really nice to them. So when you connect with people on LinkedIn, don't just sell them stuff. It's about connecting and making a relationship. Now, when I add someone on LinkedIn, if they accept my LinkedIn request, I'll actually use my phone and send them a video. I'll send them a voice message. Basically, I'll use LinkedIn to try and connect with them and become friends. Then after a month or two, when I get to know them, then I'll go for the face-to-face. That's one common thing that I do personally today. Another move that I would do as well is just be mindful of people. Like, always ask for a face-to-face, but quite often people say no at the start. Best way to go is via LinkedIn. Now, if they're not going to connect with you on LinkedIn, which is another common problem, what you can do is follow their content, like and support their content, and that way you can get close to them. So that's how I personally go about it. At the end of the day, you can only ring up and nag people so much. I think going via LinkedIn is the good backdoor to get a face-to-face. What do you think, Andy? And what do you think, Ida?
There doesn't appear to be any more questions. I don't know if Andy would like to answer that.
It's a pleasure. Well, Andy, if you've got any points, let me know. And Andy, I love your questions. And everyone else, please ask me questions. Ask me difficult questions too. I'm not here to fluff you. I'm here to help you out. What do you think, Ida? How am I going, Ida? Is this okay so far, Ida?
Yep, this is great. Thank you.
Are you happy, Ida?
I am indeed. Andy's just come back, just commenting thanks.
Oh, Andy, bless your heart and have me on LinkedIn. But seriously, in my own business, I do this all the time, especially with, just so I can't give away too many details, but I do a lot of work with the government, and this is how I get to government decision makers as well. I'm always using LinkedIn as a backdoor. Gone are the days of ringing up people and BSing the receptionist. You can a little bit, but it's a little bit old. Well, LinkedIn's sort of the in thing. Oh, one more thing before I forget as well. You can also use LinkedIn Premium to send emails. That's another one too. Let me know if you want to unpack that one. Thanks, Ida. I appreciate it. I will go back to my PowerPoint slides, and I hope you like the view all right. I'm just going to, pardon me, sit share screen. Pardon me, legendary friends. I'm more of a go-to guy, so it's been a good learning curve for me. All right, back in my PowerPoint. And pardon me if I'm squinting a little bit. I got the sun in my eyes, so there you go. But I just love the view so much. So again, these are relators, very, very good people. Now, a few other things as well. I just want to go through a few rapid points and get your questions through. Number one, when it comes to your DISC profile and especially getting face-to-face meetings, as Andy pointed out, you need to treat people the way they want to be treated. So if you're dealing with a director, cut to the chase. If you're dealing with someone who likes to chit-chat, engage in a bit of chit-chat. If you're dealing with someone who's into process and logic, give them process and logic. If you're dealing with someone who's all about their team, harmony and feelings, slow down and chill out. It's very important that you treat people the way they want to be treated, because the more you do that is the more you are going to persuade them. And in fact, Andy, I just had another point as well, another sublime thought. This probably doesn't help anyone now with the whole Corona lockdown thing, but this will be for the case of next year. Get into business chambers as well. Business chambers can be a great way of meeting top people. Number two, this is the way marketing people often think. When it comes to different marketing people, some people will just gladly pay your invoice. Some marketing people are more return on investment centric. So you got to be mindful of whether someone is just happy buying your stuff, or they need to understand a return on investment, or they need to justify a return on investment to their bosses, especially at the director level. So always think about return on investment. If you're selling, let's say 100 grand worth of goods, or 50 grand, or even 10 grand of goods to a marketing person or a company, how will it make the money? It's always good to think that through, because the more you understand the return on investment aspects of what you're doing, is the more powerful you're going to be. Point three, you're going to get no's. And going back to Andy's great point, when you first ask for a meeting, you're probably going to get a lot of no's. Okay, just being honest with you, you're going to get a lot of no's. You're going to get a lot of no's. It might take you a while to get a meeting, which is why, again, I recommend LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a great way of, remember how before, I'll show you before, I did the whole meet, like, know, and trust thing. This is how it goes from that point of view, right? The more you become friends with someone, is the more likely you're going to get a wonderful meeting. So it's just something to keep in mind. So that is an absolute good one. Number four, when you're selling to marketing people, you need to have your documentation ready. Of course, you need you need photos, you need your pretty pamphlets and all that, but you might get some case studies. In fact, I recommend you might get 4 case studies from some of your top clients with analytics, such as before campaign, after campaign, how your products were used. So the more charts, the more numbers you have, the more documentation you have, the better off you'll be, especially with thinkers, okay? Especially with these characters. These characters are persuaded by documentation and analytics, so just keep that in mind. Number 5, I kind of covered this before, but I'll say it again, you've got to get into the mind of the person you're talking to. You've got to really enter their mind and enter their space, which we covered. And number six, I don't think you're going to get meetings right away. It's going to be hard, unless they're like a red hot lead saying, I need your stuff, come on in. I don't think you're going to get meetings right away. I certainly don't. It might take a few months, but you keep trying, and that's where LinkedIn comes in. And of course as well, you need to target the right individuals and be mindful who you're speaking of. Are you targeting someone hyped from government? Are you targeting a marketing assistant who just got out of uni? You got to be very mindful and very, very respectful. So I just want to check in. Ida, did you have any questions, Ida? And was there any questions from the wonderful group and team?
There's no questions of yet. So as Edward mentioned, if you have any questions, please send them through.
And did you have any questions, Ida? Anything going through your mind?
Not in particular. Do any of our participants have any questions?
I love it. They're all deep, intelligent thinkers. Love you guys. And girls. I mean guys in a gender neutral sense, of course. Yeah, so there you go. Look, as a quick wrap, do your DISC profile, 1, 2, 3 free DISC test. Remember that marketing people, and I'm allowed to say this because I used to be a marketing person, us marketing people can be very mean-spirited, time-poor, cranky people, as everyone hates us. That's true. Marketing people are often the first to get fired during recessions, and everyone hates us. So it's quite normal as a marketing person to get really cranky, which I certainly was. Treat people their way. Have a very clear outcome when you talk to people. Shake off no's. Use LinkedIn as well to make friends with them. Have really good documentation. Okay, very, very good documentation. What I mean by mind control is don't get bummed out and keep at it. It can be many conversations and always focus on the right person. So there you go, my friends. These are some thoughts. And I just want to ask what you all think. I've pretty much gone to the end of my presentation, but I just want to give you some ideas to really help you win big. So yeah, I'm here for Q&A. Any questions, any thoughts, or any problems, ask me now. Or if there's anything you want me to dive into, let me know. But again, as well, feel free to add me on LinkedIn. And if you want to copy this presentation or anything else, just let me know. Ida, what are you thinking, Ida?
Thanks, Edward. Thank you for presenting this presentation to our members.
Yes.
Look, there doesn't appear to be any questions. Oh, hang on. I think we've got one here.
Awesome. Show the harbour bridge. There we go. Beautiful harbour bridge.
Okay, so our first question is from David. Are face-to-face worthwhile in today's market?
I'm going to answer. I'm going to give you a funny answer. I'm going to answer no. And a lot of you are going to, and I'm saying no with a few caveats, right? And I'll tell you why I say no. Over half my clients are from all over the world. Some of them spend a lot of money with me personally, and I've never met them face to face. So what's changed is you don't need face-to-face meetings as much as one used to. So in the old world, yes, we needed a lot of face-to-face, but things are now different. Now, this is the way I look at face-to-face. Not everyone even wants to meet you face-to-face. However, if you can meet face-to-face, it's good. And I'll give you this answer. I'll talk about, I'm obviously in Sydney. My local Sydney clients, some of them are into face-to-face, some aren't. So I always judge the person I'm into. Some will want to meet you face-to-face, some don't care. So it's all about judging the person. But no, you don't need face-to-faces these days, but they can help us in special situations. I hope it answers your question.
Thanks, Edward. We have another question that's come through from Ford. Are marketing people fired first in a recession because they are primarily money spenders in a quantifiable sense?
Exactly. So as a marketing person, marketing people have very volatile careers, and speak to anyone who's lived in Dubai and they'll tell you exactly the same thing. So for example, marketing people often earn a lot of money, but they usually get killed first thing. Usually it's actually correction. There's actually a slight caveat. Training are the first people to get killed, right? Usually it's training, and then marketing people are next on the list. However, there's a big however. When companies expand or markets open up again, marketing people are the first to get hired as well. So that's why a lot of marketing people only spend a few years at a company, because the nature of marketing is very volatile. It's just that type of industry. It's not like accounting or payroll. Unless there's something really bad happens, accounting or payroll rarely get fired. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why marketing people are so cranky, is because it's a very volatile job and people either love or hate you. There's not much stability in marketing jobs, especially today. Hope it answers your questions.
Thanks, Edward. There doesn't appear to be any more questions. And so I would like to mention, if you have any questions for Edward that come to mind after the presentation, you're more than welcome to, as he mentioned, add him on LinkedIn, or alternatively, you can send him an email to edward@excellenceabove.com.au. I will include this email as part of the email you will receive tomorrow with a copy of today's recording.
It's a pleasure, a nice one. Hope it all helps.
Okay, so on behalf of Edward Zia and APPA, I'd like to thank all our participants in joining us today, and thank you to the participants that asked questions today. And I hope you all have a great afternoon, and thank you once again, Edward.
It's an honourable pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Just before you go, just so I show you a quick view of the Harbour Bridge and more. So it's a pleasure, friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Hey, bye, everyone.